All right, Shalom. This is the brother Nahalia from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. This is John chapter 8 and verse 32. And it reads, "And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." All right, and I want to go into a lesson through the Spirit, inspired by the movie, The Man in the Iron Mask. All right, the scene that you saw before this lesson, all right, is a scene from The Man in the Iron Mask. All right, and to give you a general summary of what the movie is about. All right, it's about an evil king and a humble king. All right. And ironically, the kings are twins, all right, which alludes to Jacob and Esau. All right. As a matter of fact, this is 2nd Esdras chapter 6 and verse 9. And it reads, I'll start up at 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right. And in that movie, all right, you have, again, twins. All right. One of the twins is an evil king. All right. And the other one is a humble one. All right. And through the Spirit, I want to go into a lesson more so on the aspect of the humble king in the Iron Mask. All right. When you go through the movie, the man in the Iron Mask is the humble king who was hidden. All right. His rulership, his birthright was actually stolen from him. All right. His ability to have rulership was stolen from him. All right. And he was bound in prison. All right. And his identity was hidden with an iron mask. All right. And that's exactly what has happened to the children of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right. We as the children of Israel, all right, have been hidden from the world at large. And that's why it is so shocking to the majority of the world that we have proclaimed ourselves to be Israelites. All right, because the world has been lied to. All right, going into Isaiah the 25th chapter, the covering cast being spread over all nations, including ourselves. All right, when you go into the movie The Man in the Iron Mask, that scene in particular is them having the mask removed, the humble king having that mask removed off of his face. All right. And what I thought was very spiritual about it was that it was a painful process for him. All right. Likewise, through the Spirit, it's a similar analogy for our walk. All right. The scriptures talk about us going through the straight gate, and that's Strait, which means a position of difficulty. All right. And that's why the scriptures talk about a third or the remnant being tried with fire. All right. As the Lord set us free with this truth, we have to maneuver through this world and endure afflictions. All right. And bear the indignation of the Lord under this captivity, under this iron mask, if you will. All right. Until the Lord breaks our bonds. All right. This is Psalms chapter 83 and verse 2. And it reads, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. All right. Because the Lord's people are hidden amongst the world. All right. But through the Spirit, all right, we are beginning to get our identity back. All right. And that's what you see with the brothers raising up. All right. Beginning with the apostles on down, beginning to stand on our feet in exceeding great army. All right. And that's a sign, according to prophecy, that the time of us being in captivity is beginning to come to an end. All right. And this is the world's worst nightmare. All right. Because under the evil king Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, everyone has been able to have a partaking in some form of wickedness. All right. Because the wicked have been in liberty. Even though it says when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn, the majority of the planet is in mourning. But a lot of their leaders who have made a confederacy with Esau live lavishly at the expense of their own people. And that is a sign of a wicked king. All right. When you go into Ecclesiasticus, the 10th chapter, it says this. Ecclesiasticus 10:1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. All right. And through the Spirit, we are in the iron mask and we are in captivity. But most importantly, we're being groomed for rulership. All right. When you watch the movie The Man in the Iron Mask, the man or the king, the humble king that was in the iron mask and bound in prison, before they were actually able to put him in rulership, he had to be trained. He had to be taught the etiquette of how to conduct himself as a king, how to exercise rulership, how to exercise discernment, how to show that he fits in the royal room, if you will. The same thing is happening for us through the Spirit. We're learning how to have dominion and rulership, beginning with the most important step, our own spirits. All right. The scriptures talk about he that can't control his own spirit is like a city without walls. All right. Now, continuing right here, as a matter of fact, let's go to Proverbs. All right, so this is Proverbs chapter 25 and 28. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down without walls. All right, and that's why the most important lesson that we are learning before the Lord, us as joint heirs under the Lord willing, we're a part of that number, is the ability to rule our own spirit. Before we can judge other nations, before, as it says in 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter, I believe we can judge angels, we have to first learn to rule and have dominion over our own spirit. And grace has been given to us to perfect that or rehearse that until we are made perfect in the flesh. All right. And that is, in essence, the chains of darkness, as the scriptures refer to them. All right. And when you compare it to the movie, The Man in the Iron Mask in the prison is the humble king's captivity, so to speak. But as he's freed from that through the knowledge of who he is, he still must be trained to assume that position of rulership. All right. And that reminds me of Galatians, the 4th chapter and the 1st verse. And it reads, Now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, differeth nothing from a servant, though he be Lord of all, but is under tutors and governors until the time appointed of the Father. Even so, we, when we were children, were in bondage under the elements of the world. But when the fullness of the time was come, Yahweh Shai sent forth his Son, made of a woman, made under the law, to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of sons. So in essence, the truth has set us free to a degree. All right. And when you watch The Man in the Iron Mask, he's set free, or I should say that he's taken out of the prison. The mask is removed off of him. And then he spends time with the musketeers, learning how to be a proper ruler, learning how to show forth royal etiquette. All right. And for edification's sake, I'm going to get the word etiquette. All right. So let me grab etiquette in the etymon. All right. Because I've mentioned it a few times. So let's get etiquette. And we're going to get it in the etymon. And then I'll get the regular definition. But I want to see the etymology first. All right. So etymon online reads prescribed behavior. All right. From French etiquette or etiquette. It says prescribed behavior. Now let's go to the just plain Google definition. It says the customary code of polite behavior in society or among members of a particular profession or group. All right. And us being the sons of Yahweh Shai, we have to show forth a particular type of etiquette. All right. And The Man in the Iron Mask is really an allegory, if you will, when you watch it, of Jacob and Esau, but also of Jacob's journey through the straight gate, beginning with the elect. You find out the truth and you're set free from the understanding of the truth. But then you're being refined. For what purpose? To actually assume the position of ruler as joint heirs under Yahweh Shai. All right, because brothers say this all the time. All right, Yahweh Shai is going to have the dominion. But under Yahweh Shai's dominion, there's going to be many offices that are needed for judgment on the planet Earth. All right. And beyond, if you can receive it. All right. And those are the positions that the elect men will assume. All right. Different positions of leadership to further the kingdom and to maintain the well-being of the rule or the dominion. And in essence, this truth has set us free to begin that process of refinement, to develop spiritual etiquette to judge in the world. All right. Now, I mentioned it, so let me just go grab it. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 1, or Salakia, 1 Corinthians 6 and 2. Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters? All right. And that's what the Lord has done. He's taken us out of the iron mask. All right. To let us know who we are through the Spirit, so that we can develop that etiquette, so that the righteous can be an authority and the world can rejoice under righteous rulership, beginning with Hamashiach. All right. And we're being refined to learn and understand and appreciate proper judgment or proper etiquette in rulership. Esau has shown the world what shouldn't happen in rulership, what not to do in rulership. And when you watch the man in the iron mask, it's a very spiritual example of Jacob and Esau, where it shows you what a wicked ruler has done, the abuse of power, and what a righteous ruler should look like in a sense. All right. A similitude, if you will. All right. And we've been hidden from the world and from ourselves of who we truly are through the Spirit. All right. And this truth has set us free and freed us from the iron mask. All right. But 2/3 of our people would like to remain behind that iron mask. And that's why ultimately the Lord's going to have to teach them this through death by pain. All right. But Lamentations chapter 4, verse 1 reads, how is the gold become dim? How is the most fine gold changed? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street. The precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold, how are they esteemed as earthen pitchers, the work of the hands of the potter? So the world, we have been hidden from the world because the things of the world have been turned upside down. So the things that should be valued are not valued, and the things that should not be valued are valued. All right. And so the Lord's hidden ones remain hidden in large part. All right. Due to the covering cast that's placed over all people, and Esau, Edom, the wicked ruler, and his deception. All right. But we're coming into a time where light and truth and faith is beginning to flourish. All right. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 6. And I'll start at 5. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, as an error which proceedeth from the ruler. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place. I have seen servants upon horses, and princes walking as servants upon the earth. So the true princes of the world are behind the iron mask, so to speak, or in captivity, in a low estate. And who is filling their position? A nation of people who are not qualified. All right. And their actions and the results of their rulership gives testimony to that statement. All right. Now, I want to grab another precept through the Spirit, because when you go into it, and I want to let's get Proverbs 19 and 10. Ultimately, Esau is a servant. All right. He's not meant to be in rulership. He's not fit to rule the earth. All right. And to have an earth being ruled, or a planet or a society being ruled where proper judgment is executed, the world will rejoice. But when you have improper judgment being executed, the world is in mourning. All right. And that's because ultimately someone who is not qualified to rule has been given dominion. All right. In Daniel's fourth chapter, I believe the Lord said that he gave over the world to the bases of men. All right. He gave dominion to the bases of men. All right. And that ultimately goes back to Esau being a servant that is sat on a horse. All right. This is Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 10. And it reads, "Delight is not seemly for a fool, much less for a servant to have rule over princes." All right. And the servant has had rule over princes so long that most of the princes of Zion believe that they are actually servants. They believe when they look in the mirror and they see the iron mask, so to speak, or that lower state that we're in, they believe that that is who we are and not the position that we have that's temporary. And that's the difference between the remnant and 2/3 is the hope that is within us, that the Lord will not leave us here in the pit to die forever. But understanding this truth and having that mask removed comes with great responsibility. And that's what the Lord is showing us through his actions and through this trial and tribulation that the elect are going through. Lord willing, we're a part of that number. It's the refinement process to refine and to build up our faith and also refine our discernment and our judgment. So that, Lord willing, when Yahushua comes to claim his kingdom, we can be a part of those joint heirs, that remnant, that elect, which goes into the aristocracy or the best citizens having rulership. See, Esau has tricked the majority of our people into believing that we're actually servants and not princes serving out our sentence. And that's why the Lord is raising up prophets, beginning with the apostles, to let our people know who we truly are, whether they hear or forbear. When you look at the man in the iron mask, there was a moment that the young humble king had to decide within himself if he wanted to remain in a lower state or if he wanted to climb up to the position that was his birthright. And only a remnant of our people are prophesied to want it through the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai, enough to chase it. All right. To strive for it. All right. Paul says we do not run uncertainly. All right. Because we understand through the spirit that the Lord has removed the covering cast from us and we understand who we truly are. But we also understand that there's a great responsibility. And that's what the Lord is doing. He's refining us and preparing us for that position of rulership under Hamashiach. And for those who haven't seen The Man in the Iron Mask, it's an older movie, but it is a very spiritual movie if you want to take a look at it. All right, because it definitely gives you a spiritual similitude of Isaac or Salakia, Esau and Jacob. It gives you a similitude of that. All right. So Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.